You can also write news releases with the most important information. So these are usually written, and we will talk more later on. We will talk about these in more detail. But basically, it's like something very short that you write that it says like, what is the topic, maybe has a few quotes. So it's something that they can publish, or as it is, as a news story, or it's something that it will capture the attention of like the person, the editor, or like the person in charge of the TV station. And they might say, yeah, I want to, like, this story sounds interesting, I'm going to do the story, instead of like publishing what you already create. So what you're doing is like kind of like just getting their interest through this like news release. You can have like a feature story, which is a news story that is written or narrated by the reporter, rather than just an announcement that is like put on your own news release. You're more likely to get someone interested if you make personal contact with an editor or a reporter who has an interest in this kind of issue. So provide the reporter with some backup publications. This gives the reporter some kind of information that they can use. They could also clarify issues. So the reporter will put this material in a file, and they will use it for other upcoming stories as well. So think of this as a relationship, because if you have like a master plan and it's like 3 years, you can contact someone in the media on day one, and there could be updates every 2 or 3 months, or when there's major decision points. So this person could be building a file with all the documents that you're giving them, and obviously they might ask you questions about who else I can interview, and you also want to ask them questions about like who are they interviewing, just to see if there's the potential for controversy as well. So you don't want to look bad in a story, so you want to like ask questions, like if there's somebody that is completely opposed and they already came to the meetings, you might be oh yeah, but like maybe you can talk to this other person, and they may be completely supportive, to kind of like show both sides of a story. So normally agencies want to respond to requests for media interviews or any opportunity to appear on a radio or television talk show. So media interviews and appearances to talk shows are pretty common. So you will receive some requests for these. There's some ground rules that are like presented here in the reading, is that you have like a topic and also an angle that you get from the reporter in advance, maybe a few questions or at least a few subjects that will be discussed, and also from what viewpoint the questions are being posed. Think about what is your main objective, and ask about like when the interview will be printed or aired. And now you will watch a video on some tips for media interviews and talk shows.
Hi, my name's Simon Locke. I'm the founder and CEO of Communications Match. Today, I'm delighted to be with Kami McCook, founder of Kami McCook & Associates, a communications training and coaching firm based in Washington, D.C. Kami, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, as a former television journalist, you train and prepare business leaders for media and speaking engagements. What are the most important things executives need to think about to prepare for a media interview?
I'd say the very first thing is to always be prepared by buying yourself a little bit of time. Don't take an interview cold. Ask a reporter what's the angle of the story, and it's also helpful to say, who else are you talking to? Who else are you interviewing? That'll really help you focus on what you want to talk about in that particular interview. Another thing that I tell people is to practice for an interview. It's amazing how many people will go into a speech, they'll work on it for days, but when an interview comes, they just go into it. So take the time, get a colleague, throw the questions out, anticipate what you might get asked. Then you're going to be a lot more comfortable.
Some people seem to be naturals when it comes to TV or radio interviews. Can you make anyone look good in front of a camera?
You know, I'm a big believer with practice, anything is possible. Yes, some people are a little more comfortable, a little less intimidated, but I think most people, unless you are a reality TV star, you get a little intimidated, and particularly under the pressure of a media interview. So there's a little pressure there that is not going to be there normally. But again, practice cures everything. The more comfortable you get with practicing on camera, playing it back, and looking at yourself, you will get a lot better at it. You'll also learn to streamline your answers because you really only need to give about a 10-second sound bite. That's what most reporters are looking for.
Terrific. Well, my last question is, are there common mistakes executives make during interviews, and what can be done to avoid them?
I would say one of the biggest mistakes is probably talking too fast, getting in a hurry, trying to get too much information in, and trying to sell your company or whatever. It's an opportunity for you to get a message out that you really want your audience to hear. And you've got to slow down. You've got to take your time. Pause. Use your pause technique. Give a break, because the back in the edit suite, TV newsrooms, they need a place where they can edit. And even if it's for print, they're looking for a place where they can get a good sound bite.
Carmi, thanks very much indeed.
You're welcome.